Choose the petal that you prefer. So the template is in the group, okay? Again, the templates, they're in the group if you want to go ahead and use them. But I'm going to show you how to cut them real quick, okay? I have my petals, I have my glue, I have the base, and the base, I just made a round circle, and I'll show you how to cut it. It's a 2" by 2" approximately, okay? And later, I will show you how to cut your petals to give it a little extra dimension, okay? I'll do that at the end, or maybe just when we cut the petals, okay? Different ways that you can go ahead and add a little more to your petal. But let me get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a petal. You can cut your own petal if, this is cardstock paper and this is 8.5 by 11. I'm going to fold the paper maybe about 2 inches or maybe 1.5 inches. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just show you how I cut a simple template. So you can cut your template. I folded the paper over, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and kind of, I'm gonna draw it just so you can see, okay? I'm just gonna do a petal. I'm gonna do half of a petal. And this is how I did my template. So I didn't outline it, but you can if you like. And then just go ahead and cut the folded part, and you have a petal right there. Very simple. And then the first petal you cut, you can use it as your template. And just label it template. Okay, so you'll know that that's your template. And then you can use that to cut all your other petals. Now I already have the template here. This is the one I used, but it's white, so I'm gonna use this green one here, just to show you how to cut them. There are a couple of ways you can cut your petal on your 11 by 8.5 by 11 or whatever size paper you have. But I'm using a 8.5 by 11. I'm gonna go ahead and fold it. Okay, maybe about 1.5 inches. You can do maybe 2 inches. I'm gonna take my template that I just cut, fold it in half. I'm gonna place it down. You don't have to trace it, but I'm gonna go ahead and trace it so you can see. And this is one of the ways that, because we're gonna use a lot of petals, and we're gonna cut the petals by hand, okay? So what I do is, I trace the petals and then I'll cut them. This is just an easy way to cut your petals. And I fold the petal in half because that way when you cut the petal, you will be cutting the exact same on both sides, okay? Now I'm just gonna show you, the petal will be smaller that we're using today, so you can get at least 3 petals over here, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this. And the petals take about 15 to 20 minutes to cut. And I'm thinking, if you're cutting 28 petals or 30 petals, it's gonna take about 15 to 20 minutes to cut. So now that I have the outline of the petal, and it doesn't have to be exact, you wanna cut inside the line. Okay, there's your first petal. And you'll do the same thing for all your petals. You'll just fold your 8.5 by 11, fold it, trace the petal. You don't have to trace it. Like if I put my template on here, I'm not gonna trace it as long as I follow the outline of that petal. Okay, if you wanna save some time, just fold your template in half. Go ahead and place it, the folded part with the folded paper. Place it right there, okay? If you don't want to outline it, and just go ahead and follow the outline of the petal, okay? And you have another petal. So that's one of the ways that you can cut your petal. I just wanted to show you that. Another way you can cut your petal, let me just get a larger piece of paper. I'm gonna use the green. And I'm gonna use the white just because of it's gonna show better. If you don't want a folded part on your petal and you want it flat, you don't want this folded part, okay? Instead of folding it and cutting it folded like this, you can take your 8.5 by 11 or whatever size paper you have, and let me just fix this little end right here. Okay, you're gonna take your template. Okay, this is your template. You're gonna go ahead and take your template, place your paper. I'll do it this way. This is not a full size 8.5 by 11. Let me use a smaller petal. Let me use the petal that I'm actually using today, the template, okay? So you place your petal, if you don't want the fold, you place your petal down, your template, trace it, okay? You're gonna trace it and just move it over and trace another one. Again, the white one is your template, and trace it again. And trace it again, as many traces as you can do on your cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the template. So now I have 4 petals. Okay, if you have a good scissors, this is cardstock 65 weight. So to cut multiple petals, it's easy to just, you can do this. If you don't want the folded part, go ahead and fold your paper. Okay, fold your paper to make sure that you fold it and get the full petal. Okay, you get your, so that way when you cut your petals, all these 4 petals, you're going to cut 8 at a time. You're going to cut 2 at a time. Okay, so let me just get rid of this part, and you'll do that for all your petals. And it saves time because you can cut 2 petals at a time. You can even cut 3 petals at a time if you have a really, really good scissors. Okay, and then you just go ahead and cut inside the line. And you're cutting 2 petals at a time. And again, to cut the petals, about 30 petals, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes just to cut the petals. Okay, I'm not going to go ahead and show you the rest, but basically you continue to do that. So that way, you cut multiple petals at the same time. Okay, in this case, I cut 4. Did I cut 4? Yeah, I cut 4 because I didn't cut the other 2. Okay, so those are the two ways that you can cut your petal. Obviously, we're doing it by hand. We're cutting our petals by hand. I want to show you something else. Okay, I'm gonna just pick a different color because you can cut it in any color. You can. This is a simple petal, but if you want to add a little pizzazz, a little something else to your petal, I'm going to show you how to cut it, okay? So I'm going to make it a little larger so you can see it. I'm gonna cut a petal from here. Okay, I folded the cardstock. This is a really large petal, just to show you, but you know, you can do it with the smaller petal. So I have a template, okay? I'm going to fold it again, and all I'm going to do is on the folded part here, I'm going to go ahead and cut in, and I'm going to maybe 1/4 of an inch apart or 1/2 an inch or even smaller depending on how big your petal is. You can cut it, you know, closer together or farther apart. You don't have to really cut it all the way down because since you're going to have different layers, the bottom is not going to show. So what you can do is you have a fancier petal there, okay? And you can do that to one layer of your flower, or you can do it to all your petals. This is a labor of love, okay? This takes time. But if you have the time, or you take, you know, 20 minutes a day to complete a series of flowers, or one big beautiful flower, or even one flower, you can do it one step at a time. Cut your petals the way you want. So this is another way that you can kind of make your petal extra pretty, okay? So I wanted to show you that. Another way that you can add to your petal if you wanted to, and I'm not going to be doing that today for time's sake. I'm not going to be, you know, or I may, I'm not sure, but I'm going to head and do the same thing. I'm going to fold the cardstock paper. I'm going to cut a similar, doesn't have to be, but I'm going to cut a similar petal. Okay. I have a petal there, my template. What you can do is, if you have a bone folder, it doesn't have to be, it can be a pencil, it can be a card to flatten your creases, okay? It can be a popsicle stick, anything flat. So what you can do is fold your petal, and I'm making this much larger so you can see it. You can fold your petal. You can do it from the folded part of your petal, okay? From the folded part. You can bend your petal or fold it like this, okay? You can fold your petal like this, and then I did a fold facing me. Now I'm gonna go backwards, okay? I'm gonna go back and do another fold. Okay, so I have 2 folds right now. Then I'm gonna go ahead and go front. I'm gonna go ahead and do another fold. Okay, like that. And I'm gonna go backwards, do another fold. I'm gonna fold this petal about halfway. Because remember, when you have layers on your flower, this part is not going, you're not gonna be able to see this part. Unless it's the final layer. And you can do the fold or that pretty cut that I showed you in the final layer and not all of them, okay? So I didn't really have to do it all the way. You can just do it halfway. And if you have a bone, anything flat, this is a bone folder. You know, you wanna go ahead and press on your folded, nice. You wanna make them really tight, that fold. You want to just go ahead and make it nice and flat. Okay. And there you go. You can have this added to your petals. So those are just 2 different ways that you can make your petals extra special. Add a little more detail. You can do 1 layer or you can do all the layers. I just wanted to show you that. Okay. I think we are going to show, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the flower. Let me get this out the way here. Okay. I've already cut my petals to save time. I'm also going to show you briefly how to cut, let's see, just going to use a different color. I have different color papers here. I'm also going to show you, well actually I'm not going to show you that right now. So I'm going to cut, I did have a hole puncher this size, but it broke. So you can cut your own base, your own circle. And you may already know this, but if you don't have a hole puncher that's right for your flower, you can just simply fold your cardstock, okay? I'm just gonna cut it here. Fold it again, just to get a pretty round circle, okay? And you're gonna cut on the folded side, and you're just gonna go ahead and do like an arch, okay, like that. Trying to keep it the same, okay. And you can cut your base, your circle. And we're just going to do a circular base. The larger your base, the more room you have for more layers. If you're making a smaller flower, then you make a smaller base. Just make the circle just a little bit smaller, okay? If you don't have a hole punch, doesn't have to be perfect. This is where you're going to be placing your petals. So let's get started. I just wanted to show you that. I didn't want to forget to show you how to cut the petals and the base with hand. I don't have a Cricut, so I'm cutting all these petals and the base by hand. All right, let me get started. The base doesn't really matter what color it is, but the sturdier the base, the better. If you have cardboard, you can make a circle. So you definitely want to have a sturdy, this will be fine. This is the same cardstock, but you want to have a sturdy base. This will be fine because And in the back, you can add another layer on the back of the flower once the flower is done. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna keep this very simple. I've already cut the different sizes of the petals. I also wanted to show you something real quick. How you can downsize, you know, how you can make your different sizes on your petal, just real quick. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and, let me go this way. I'm gonna make a petal. You can go ahead and trace your, trace your petal. Okay, this is the petal I'm using, so I'm just gonna trace it again just to show you. Trace your petal on the folded part. This is the larger petal. I'm gonna go ahead and cut one of the petals just to show you. Okay, this is the larger petal. That's gonna be the larger one. So instead of, I mean, there are different ways you can do it, but a really simple, easy way to cut the second petal, the smaller petal, which will be the second layer. You can just cut a little bit from the bottom, maybe a quarter, 1/8 of an inch. Okay, like maybe like this in this flower. Okay, on the bottom, that's gonna make it shorter. And then cut maybe about 1/8 or a quarter of an inch, following the shape of the petal. Okay, maybe about this size. And now you have the mid-size petal. Okay, and you would do that. That's just an easy way to downsize, you know, your petals. You'll do the same for the third layer. Cut just a little bit from the bottom and go in again, maybe a 1/8, 1/4 of, it's more of a 1/8, or depending on how large your petal is. You cut a little bit from the shape of the petal and you have your third size, okay? So I just wanted to show you that. An easy way to cut your petal. Okay. I'm gonna show you briefly. No, I'll leave that because I want to make sure I get to the flower. Let me get started, okay? Let me use, let's see. Okay, this is my base. My petals are already cut. I have about 9 to 10 petals. And I'm making my petals green, yellow, and pink, but two different shades of green and yellow and pink. All I'm gonna do is take my larger petal, put a little glue on right there on my base. Go ahead and place my petal right there. Okay, I'm gonna go on the opposite side. Oh, I should have broken these up. Okay. I'm gonna go on the opposite side. These are, I cut a few at a time. So, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little glue there. Hot glue I'm using, you can use whatever glue. Very sturdy glue. And I'm gonna go in about a quarter, you know, because I wanna leave room in the middle for the other layer. So I'm gonna go and put a petal on the opposite side. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to have the equal amounts of layers on both sides. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the one on the same side, but in the middle. I'm gonna go ahead and put a petal right there. And I'm using 2 shades of green. You can use any color you like. I have now 3 petals. Now I know that I have equal space to put petals on each side. And so I'll have, you know, 3 petals over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and okay. I'm gonna put a little glue right there, hot glue. I'm gonna put another petal there, another one there, okay? And I have one side done. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. And let's see. And remember, my petals are light green, dark green. That's because that's how I want my flower to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach right across. I have let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and lay one on top right there. And hot glue adheres really quickly. So that's why I'm using hot glue, but I'm sure you can use any strong glue. This is a hard paper, like very heavy paper, so it needs something. So now I have 8 petals. This is my first layer, okay? 8 petals. You can definitely add more. You can do 10 petals, you know, and maybe I'll add some later. But I do have extra petals I cut. I can always add them later if I want. But I'm gonna do an 8 petal flower, at least the first layer. So now I'm gonna go to my second layer and I'm gonna do, let me just separate them because, okay. Just gonna separate them because they were stuck together. Okay, so I'm gonna put my first, I think I need more glue. Where's my glue? Hold on, I'm just gonna add more glue to my glue gun. Oh, it still has, okay, I'm good. Okay, my first layer, I'm gonna go ahead and take my glue gun. I'm gonna put a little glue between, and we're gonna make this flower flat, okay? And then bring it up on the third layer. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach between the 2 petals here. I'm gonna go ahead, go in and attach another petal. This is my second layer, okay? I'm gonna attach a petal between each petal, like the petals, the first petal. So I'm just gonna go do that. And I mean, I probably could have just done the same thing, opposite, you know, do the petals, start on the opposite side, which is probably what but it doesn't matter, I mean. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just put that on the opposite side right there. And then I'm gonna continue to put as many petals as I can fit. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, okay? And there, okay? So now I have half of the second petal. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna put a little glue here, glue here. And I'm trying to get this done as fast as possible so you can see the completed flower. Okay, and mine, they're stuck, okay. And then maybe another one here, right there. And I think I have space for another one right there. Just add a little more glue. And I'll go ahead and stick another one in there. I'm showing you this very quickly, okay? There are many ways to do your petals. This is just a simple way, okay? So now I have my second layer. I have extra petals if I want to go ahead and add some more later. I cut about 10 petals for each color. I'm going to go now with green. This is a smaller petal. And I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, I can either put the glue on the petal or on here, but I'm gonna go ahead and just put it on the petal. I'm gonna put it between the second layer. Okay, I'm gonna put it right there. I'm gonna go ahead and do the, put it, another one. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the opposite side, which is probably here. Okay, right there. And then I'll go ahead and complete putting the petals, putting a little glue at the very end. And go ahead and do one right here. Okay. Right there. And let's see, another one across. Right here. Okay, so I have 4. And again, you can add as many layers as you like. Or as many layers as, you know, you can add as many as you like. Okay, so far this is what we have. And let's see, let me do this light pink. Okay, I'm putting them between the spaces there. And if you notice, the flower's already taking shape, so the more layers you put, the more the flower is going to go up. There are other ways to bringing the flower closer together, but this is just a simple way you can do. I'm not bending anything. I'm not cutting at the bottom to turn it. Okay. It's just cutting the petals, 3 different sizes, putting glue on the bottom. And I have 3 layers right now, but I'm going to go ahead and do another layer, okay? I'm gonna do another layer. Now, I can choose to do just the regular paper, regular cardstock paper. I have more yellow. I can do I have 4 petals. Or I can do a specialty paper, like maybe a little nice glitter paper, a specialty paper that you have. You know, this is just optional, okay? And you can cut petals in this pretty glittery specialty paper to give it an accent, okay? But I'm going to show you other ways you can do it. So let's see. I have more green petals. So I think I'm just going to do another green petal layer. Let's see. And because these are the larger petals, and I want to do another layer in the middle, what I'm going to do is what I showed you earlier. I'm going to size them smaller. Okay, so I'm going to take maybe 3, 4, as many as my scissors will cut. I'm gonna these are the larger petals, so I'm gonna just cut a little from the bottom because I'm gonna make these like the smallest petals, my 4th layer. Okay, cut about 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, depending on how big your petal is. So I have 2 or 3, and I'm just gonna go ahead and go and cut about 1/8 for this petal, about 1/8 of an inch in to make a smaller petal. Okay, and I can use this, the one that I already cut, as a reference, okay, as the template, the one that I already cut, just to get the same size. So actually, let me go ahead and cut the bottom on this one a little bit. It's just an easy way to make the smaller petal. And I'm cutting 3, 4, 5 at a time, depending how, you know, how good your scissors is. You can do 2 or 1. And there, I cut another layer, and I cut a total of 5 in the smallest size. So now I'm gonna add this 4th layer, okay? And I'm just gonna glue the bottom. Okay, it's my first layer there. I'm gonna go to the opposite side. Okay, opposite side. And I'm gonna continue doing my last layer. And this flower is almost done, almost, okay? Just gonna show you a few more tips on how to elaborate your flower. Okay, Now, I got 4 petals, but I can definitely do more petals if I wanted to, but I don't have enough. Maybe I do. Yeah, let me spruce it up a little bit. Let me just cut a few more petals. Okay. I can leave it at 4. I can do as many petals as I like, but I'm gonna go ahead and just add a few more petals to the flower. Okay. Just gonna add more petals. I'm gonna add one here, here, and here. Make it a little fuller. Okay. Tomorrow we are doing a Christmas dress on a greeting card. Okay, a Christmas dress on a greeting card, and I'm gonna show you how to cut the template tomorrow. You'll need your 5x7 or any size greeting, plain, white, or any color you choose, greeting card, a blank, and then your glue stick. You'll need your ribbon, or 1 or 2 or 3 ribbons, and I think I have one more. Let's see. I'm just cutting my last petal here. So your ribbon, your greeting, your plain greeting card, glue, again, ribbon. Okay. I think this one's a little bigger, so let me just cut it down a little bit, this petal. I'm just cutting it down because I didn't cut it small enough for the middle. So we have now, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 layers on this flower. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you how to cut these petals right here and how to cut them to add a little more interest to your flower, make it more festive and maybe more Christmassy. Okay, and this is with the glitter paper. I already have some cut, but I'm going to show you how to cut them real quick. And you can add them into any of your layers. Okay, this is just one of the ways that you can make your flower more festive. Okay, I'm going to show you how to cut these, and you can just glue them in. You can place them in the back wherever they can be seen. Okay, you're just going to add a little glue in the back and place them evenly all the way around, like that. Okay, to give your flower a little more. Now also, before I do that, the middle of the flower can be anything. This is a tea light. It's a little too big for this flower, but if your flower's a little bigger, you can add a tea light. Okay, maybe if you're going to use it as a centerpiece or something like that. Of course, in your favorite colors. So you can add a little tea light. You can add, this is too big, I didn't have a small one, but you can add just a plain ornament that you already have in the middle. And you can actually take this off and glue it if you're gonna, hang, use it as an ornament on your tree. You can go ahead and, obviously it's gonna be smaller. You can glue it there and then use it if you wanted to as an ornament on your tree. Okay, if you do a flower tree, or you can do 3 or 5 or 7. What else can you? You can add a beautiful bead. Okay, you can add a beautiful bead, glue a beautiful bead to your flower. Anything that you want to put on your flower in the middle, you can do, okay, to match your flower. I'm going to show you an easy way that you can, just from the same paper, you can just cut these little curly, let's see, I think I have some samples. And you can add these curly cut paper in the middle if you like, okay? Whether they're plain or they are the specialty paper, like I did on this one, okay? Like I did on these right here. This is not glued permanently together. There you go. And I think I did it on some of the other flowers. That's just a simple way of doing a center. I haven't, like, let's say if I wanted to use yellow on this one doesn't have it, you can do that to it, okay? You can put 3, 4, 5, glue them on here. So I just wanted to show you that. And that's just a very simple way of, you know, with the same paper of doing that. You can do all your flower in a specialty paper, glitter paper, and add this in the middle if you wanted to, or a light, like I said, a little tea light, or a beautiful gold center. Okay, this one was made with just 2 layers and the accent petal. But you can definitely go ahead and put in a beautiful bead in the middle. You can even add these also if you wanted to. And if you have maybe a gold tree, you can use these as ornaments, okay? That's just a few ways that you can add a little pizzazz to your, so this is our flower for today, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to cut these petals, okay? I'll do it with regular cardstock. These will be your accent petals. And you can do it in glitter paper, any paper really, sturdy, glitter paper or regular cardstock paper, okay? This will add a little accent to your flower. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, well first, to do the little curlies, which, you know, they're pretty simple, okay? Let me show you. You just take and just cut a strip of paper, maybe 3 or 5 or as many as you want. Maybe 1/8 of an inch, or thick or small, any way you want. Okay, if you want to use it as a center. And then you just take anything that's round, a skewer, a pencil, anything that's round, and just go ahead. I find that it's easier just to twist it around the skewer or the pencil. It's really simple, okay, like that. And there you go, okay, there you go. You get the little curly paper. You can do 5 or 3 in the colors that you choose. So that's the simple way of doing this right here for the center of your flower. Okay, I have about 15 minutes. I wanted to show you how to cut the accent petal. So this is just regular cardstock. I'm gonna go ahead and fold it in half, okay? I'm gonna fold it in half. I'm going to cut a petal again, okay? I'm just gonna cut a petal. And you wanna cut the petal according to the size of your flower, okay? So this is the petal from the regular cardstock, okay? What you're gonna do is you're going to cut the accent petal from just a plain petal right here. So you're gonna go into the folded part. This is your folded part right there, okay, right there. And you're going to cut on the folded side. Let's see if I can show you here. About 1/4, depends how thin or thick you want it. And just go around the shape of the petal. And that's it. So you'll have a petal that you can use for your flower. And you will also have this accent petal, okay? It's closed in here. I'm gonna show you how not to cut it, okay? But this is the way you would cut it. And then when you have your flower, you can go ahead and place it, you know, maybe place 10 or 8 or 5 in between some of the petals, okay? To give it a little more accent. Okay, now what you don't want to do is, you don't want to cut the petal this way. Using a lot of paper, but I'm using the scrap. I'll save some of the scrap. What you don't want to do is, again, I'm going to fold a paper. I'm going to cut a petal. I'm just going to cut a simple petal. Okay. And a little larger so you can see. What you don't want to do is cut for the accent petal like this. You don't want to cut that accent petal from the from the area that's open. Okay, you don't want to start cutting, and I'll show you what I mean. You don't want to start cutting from here because these are open. And let me show you what will happen. So if I start cutting from this side right here, and I cut the petal, the accent petal, okay, I'm just going to go around okay. You're going to get this, okay, which is okay, but then you have to put a little glue there on the bottom to close the petal up. Okay, if you do it, it's okay. But if you don't want to have that extra step of putting glue, you know, fitting it in and just making sure it stays closed like that, all you do is you're going to cut from the folded part, not this part, this area. You're going to cut from here. And I'm going to do it again to show you. Okay, I'm not going to cut from here. I'm going to cut from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it some, okay, I'm going to cut like that from the folded part. You see it's already closed. That's what you want. You want it to be closed at the bottom. And then you just continue cutting in, okay, and you're going to have a petal. You want to save your petals, okay, for your flower. But then you have your accent petal that you can place in between your petals at the end so you know where you want it. Okay, that's just another way. I'm going to do it with specialty paper, okay? It can be, again, any specialty accent paper that you have or that matches your flower. Okay, you just fold your paper. This is a little, these are kind of like a little harder. I mean, you just have to do a nice fold. Use your bone folder or anything. You can use one of these, a card, an old card but anything, you just want to flatten that down. Okay, make it nice and flat. Okay, and this is the specialty paper. It's like a bronze. Okay, and then again, you're going to do your petal. Okay, and do your petal. And you're not going to cut from here. You're going to cut from the folded part to do the accent, like maybe right about there from the folded side. And you can do it as thin as or as thick as you want. There you have a petal, which is like a specialty petal that you can also put in your flower, like maybe 5 or, you know, how many you want. And then, of course, you have your accent petal that you can stick in. Let's see. That you can put in your, like I did with this one. I just did a 2-flower petal and with glitter paper, cardstock, heavy duty, you know, cardstock paper. I did 2 layers only, and then I cut the accent petal and placed it in. And then, of course, the curlies, but you can put a bead also in the middle. And so this would be like a 2-layer flower with a specialty layer. You can make it as big or small, as many petals as you like, okay? Just wanted to show you that. So that's how you would cut it, okay? I'm gonna show you one more time. We're almost out of time. This is a beautiful cream color glitter. So you're gonna fold it. Let me see. I don't think it, well, let me see. I would fold it from the back side, okay? I would fold it from the back side. Okay, and just a nice fold. Use your bone folder or your card, any card that you have, anything like that. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna make this like much bigger. And again, you can petal, accent petal from the folded part right here. I'm gonna make this a little thicker because it's a bigger petal. Okay, so now you have a beautiful petal you can use for your flower. You can have your accent. This is a much bigger size. So you're gonna cut it according to the size of your petal and your flower, okay? And it's closed at the bottom. So I just wanted to show you that. And I also briefly, I have about 8 minutes. I wanted to show you, and this, I didn't post this, but I'll go ahead and, I have, if you want to do a poinsettia petal, okay, I'm going to just show you the template real quick. Well, this is my template right here, okay, this is my template. I'm going to go ahead and use it, and let's see, I'll use the white paper. I'm just going to cut it right here. I'm going to fold it, white cardstock. So basically what I want to say is, from paper, you can cut you can create your own petal. Okay, I'm gonna do this in a minute. But if you fold your paper so both sides can be even, you can do a round petal. Okay, you can do a round petal and use the first one you cut as your template. You can cut do it, fold your paper, and then you can draw it if you like, or just, you know, if you have an idea already, you can just make like a heart shaped petal. Okay, like that. And get a different petal and make that a template. The first one you cut, you make a template. Let's see if I do another one here with this paper. So you can create your own petal. You don't need a machine, a Cricut to do a beautiful flower. You can make it with your hands, with paper. Let's see, what do I want to do with this one? Let's see, I'll go down this way and then this way. Okay, so yeah, you have a different petal. Okay, I mean, you can, let's see, I get excited, so I'm going to show you one more. I have a whole bunch of cardstock, smaller cardstock paper here, and we're almost done. We're almost done. Let's see, we want to do a round, pretty round, maybe this shape, okay? And you have a different petal. The first petal you cut, if you like the shape, you want to keep that as your template. Okay, so I think I showed you that. I'm going to go ahead. This is the poinsettia template, okay? I'm going to go ahead real quickly because we're done. And then I'm going to show you how you can also glitter your petal. Put little paint glitter on your petal if that's what you'd like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my template, which I've already have. I'm going to trace it. Okay, and this is a poinsettia petal, at least my version. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut my template. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect. So there's your poinsettia template, okay? And again, if you want to fancy it up a little bit, I mean, you can do all kinds of things to it. You can, I don't know, you can cut into it if you like. You know, you can do all kinds of stuff to your template. Anyway, I wanted to show you that. So this is again, and then again, of course, if you wanted to take your petal and cut into it, okay, to make it a little fancier, you can make it these very small, the slits, or thicker. You really don't have to go all the way down like I just did. You only need the top part. And make your fun looking petal right there, okay? And do all of them or one layer. What else? Let's see. Oh, okay, so if you wanna add glitter, there's plenty of glitter out there. If you have glitter paint, you can add glitter to your flower. It's a little messier. You can, you know, use a brush. I'm gonna use my fingers. And we're done. Okay, we are done. Just put a little glitter, and I don't have a brush. I didn't bring a brush, but this is the flower I did. And you can choose to do glitter on the edge because you want this to look more festive, more Christmassy, even if it's in a non-traditional Christmas color, okay? You want to add a little shine to it, a little glitter. Okay, you can do it to one layer, you can do it to all your layers at the tip, okay? And, you know, I mean, you can, if you wanted to, let's see, you know, you can add some, you can really add anything. You really can. So there you go, you can add a little glitter to your petals. I think that's everything I had. It's almost 1 o'clock, 12:59. I didn't want to take too much of your time. But thank you for stopping by. Say hello later. Tell me your favorite part about this Christmas flower, if you would do something different. And if it was easy or you wanted maybe a little bit more information. If you want a bonus on a step-by-step of this process, because again, the video is only going to be available for 30 days, go ahead and put step-by-step and I can send it to you via email sometime next week. Let's see. I'm looking through my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, okay. So if you want to use it as a template, if you want to use it as on your tree, all you do is, and I don't know if I add, let's see. This is not the right ribbon, but all you do is take a little ribbon, jute, or whatever you choose to match your flower, and you go ahead and put it on the back, okay, of your flower. If you want to hang it up, you can also use these on a beautiful wreath. And then, let's see. You glue it in there, okay? And then you take another to match, I think I used it, but another round circle, okay? To match, nobody's gonna see the back, but another one to support it. And then go ahead and hang these up with a beautiful ribbon that matches your flower with everything already, all the details, and use it on a wreath, use it maybe in a smaller amount or even bigger, depending on how big or small your tree is, and make maybe multiples of 3 or 5 as a added accent on a Christmas tree. There's so many ways that you can use a flower. I mean, so many ways. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this and I hope it was helpful. I hope that you get to do a paper flower and post it and show it to me in the group. And I hope I didn't forget anything, but if I did, I'll go ahead and post some of these flowers that I haven't posted so you guys can see it. But let me know if you enjoyed making this flower, whether now or later. And if you have any questions about making the flower, let me know, put it in the comments. And that's it for today. Tomorrow we're going to do a beautiful dressy Christmas dress on a I'm going to do it on a 5x7 card, blank card. And we're going to have fun with that. So, and I'll do the template tomorrow on the live. That's it. Have a blessed rest of your week. It is what, Tuesday? Okay, so we still have Wednesday and Thursday. Friday I'll come on just to kind of do a recap and offer some bonuses that that I have. So that's it. Thank you for stopping by, whether now or later. Be blessed. Nelda with Thou Art Strong. Nelda's Christmas in July. And have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Bye.